A very good afternoon to everyone gathered this afternoon. The Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Shift 2, takes great pleasure in inviting this August gathering for the Proactive Upskilling Workshop. On behalf of the management, principal, head of the department, and faculty of the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, we welcome you all to the Ability Enhancement series. Today's session is very special with the presence of Dr. Ashalata Reddy. I welcome Dr. R. Vasudevan to deliver the welcome address. Before the welcome address, we will have the college prayer song. Please join with us for this auspicious moment.
सत्यव्रतं सत्यपरं त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यं ऋतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नाः वाणी गुणानुकथने श्रवणो कथायां हस्तौ च कर्मसु मनस्तव पादयोर्नः स्मृत्यां शिरस्तव निवास जगत्प्रणामे दृष्टिस्ततां दर्शनेस्तु भवत्तनूनाम् नमो भगवते तस्मै कृष्णायाद्भुतकर्मणे रूपनामविभेदेन जगत्क्रीडति यो यतः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Jai Shri Krishna. We now have Dr. Vasudevan to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Dr. Vasudevan.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. R. Vasudevan, Faculty of Corporate Secretaryship, Vaishnav College, and most respected Principal of the College, and Honorable Secretary, and Faculty of Corporate Secretaryship Department, and Head of the Department, Dr. Kalpana Devi, and other faculty members. I most welcome one and all. And today we are having a very good session. Our chief guest, Dr. Ashlata Reddy ma'am, going to present here how we are going to mold our students to become a corporate leader. Nowadays, the education became a student-centered education. The gap between teaching and learning should be removed from ICT tools and other communication device. The educational technology is going to occupy the entire curriculum of the syllabus. And any university in India and academic institutions in India are going to adhere what we are student-centered education implement in our process. Our chief guest have a vast experience in the field of teaching English. She have one more PhD in English and doing the educational PhD. The second PhD also doing. So she have a vast experience in the field of academic and administration and research experience also. She got a more than 50 research journal and award from nodal agency national and international. I most welcome the principal of Vidya Niketan, Tirupati, Dr. Ashladha Reddy. I most welcome, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh, we welcome you, Dr. Rashalata, to this very
Thank you.
special day, and we look
Thank you,
forward to
madam.
a very productive and excellent session from you. Thank you, ma'am,
Thank
for
you.
gracing the occasion.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's my pleasure to share whatever knowledge I have for the betterment of the student community. Uh, See, initially, like I would like to thank the Department of Corporate Secretaryship, the management and the administrative staff of DG Vaishnav College for actually inviting me to be part of this ability enhancement web series, because it's really important that the students have to understand that nothing in the world is going to stop us, in fact, when we think that we are going to be productive. So this is the kind of the mindset that everybody has to start developing when they are in the school itself. See, long gone are the days when we were there in the college, we never knew what was placement and never knew what was a placement training. Then after that, there was a trend where there was inducted placement training in the college campuses. Now it is all life skills and transferable skills, which are talking about how we have to get prepared for life from day one. So I would say, like as a mother or as a teacher, that the training for the placements or training for the life skills starts with the school itself. So it's very interesting to understand and to see that all these ideas that we are taking it up from the school, from the college, it is all something which builds up our career. I hope the screen is visible to all, and whatever presentation that I'm going to make, it's just going to be a supplement, but I would like to talk more when it is coming to the placement, or whether it is coming to the enhancement of the employability. So to start with, we are all good, and we had a tough time in the past 1 year or 2 years, and we were able to actually understand that the life is more complicated, and then we need to understand that the life what we are going through, or the life which we are actually trying to get into the picture, or whatever it is, that is little bit subdued because of the pandemic. But pandemic has given us so many options. The pandemic has given us so many kinds of ideas, that from the home, or working from the home, or when it's a digitalized world, it is much more work prospects. So there is nothing which is going to stop us. Maybe we know that there are several other dimensions to the pandemic, and we have seen a lot of them. But as far as we know, when it comes to the pandemic, or when it comes to the the employability, nothing has changed. In fact, it has grown more, and we have more of the courses available everywhere at our doorstep, just to do it from the home itself. So study has not stopped, or the employability has not stopped. It has much more got a bigger scope of development during the pandemic. So in that case, I would like to share few points which I am very specifically close to and very dear to, because when it comes to the human behavior, always we'll be thinking, okay, somebody has to support us, or somebody has to be a support system. But most of the time, we need to have a clear cut understanding that the human support system is not exactly what the others are going to do. Okay, we have a family, we have a peer group, we have friends, we have teachers. Everybody is going to be a support system, but then at the very same time, it's very important that our support system as well as the people around us, they're just going to be there with us, but whatever achievement is there, it's going to be completely ours. So we inherit by nature the qualities of being a human being, or our intelligence, or our genetical quality of creativity. But then, the psychology of a human being is nurtured. Though we get a lot of things by nature, it is nurtured, and the talent has to be nurtured. When the talent is nurtured from day one in a school or in a college with the peer group or with the fraternity around us, or our relatives, parents, family, immediate family, friends, everybody, then it becomes inevitable that we are trying to show all the qualities that we have here with us in a much more bigger way, or in a much more kind of more dynamic kind of a way, where it is something that we are going to live with the social structure, following the social norms, having the knowledge with us, and we are going to get the knowledge, become very competent, and then finally, with the attitude which is very positive for the personal as well as the societal development, we are going to grow into a well nurtured human being. So this is all about us, simply as a person. Everybody around us, they are there, but nobody can be part of our you know success in the cell, in the kind of the sense that nobody is going to come and sit with us in an interview room, or they are going to not write the test for us. We are going to prove ourselves. It's completely individual. The support systems are there, but the performance is always going to be individual, day one to the end of our life. So in that context, it's very important. This human behavior is very very complex. It is intriguing, and it is actually people try to change themselves, mold themselves to the situations. Sometimes we are very resistant to change, but it happens all through the way, all through the life. Then why is it that we are not taking it very professionally? Why is it that we are not changing ourselves and developing ourselves or growing very professionally? So the mindset and the behavior that we have, it's something which is very what we call as something that we have to integrate. First is knowledge and skills that we get in a professional or in a formal setup, and the motivation that we get with our support system. Combining both these things, if you develop an attitude of your own of being very proactive or positive, or you know how to manage yourself, organize yourself, take risk, and create a innovative kind of a situation for yourself and pursue excellence, then absolutely the world is ours. That should be the way we are going to train our future generation. That should be the way we are going to train our children. See, normally what happens is that sometimes we take it very light. We have a lot of excuses as parents or as teachers. Like we will have some kind of a kind of a compartmentalization where we don't want to change ourselves or come out of it to take up new challenges. But this is the era, this is the age where no pandemic is going to stop us, or no technological advancement, because already we know people were talking a lot about 2020. Now it's 2020 is over, 21 is over, now 2030 will come, 2035 will come. It's only kind of the boost that which is going to happen to the world, and the knowledge exposure or the explosion which is going to happen. So the technical skills are going to be very important, and communication skills, managerial skills, everything in a kind of a propensity where they are all together making you stronger. So this is what is going to be the curriculum tomorrow. It has to be robust, it has to be dynamic in order to make the child become very confident. Then how is it that the child is going to become very confident? As a mother, I think that the placement training starts from the school, as I was just talking about. So when it starts from the school, what happens is that people are always interested that they have a path. But anyway, we have seen in many times, we don't give a kind of a support to the child where they want to pursue whatever they want. Now long gone are the days where we are going to go for some kind of activities which are going to be very routine, or courses which are very routine. There's so much of scope in this world to grow, to develop, that there is no stop. So we are going to role model our students either in the schools or in the colleges in order to take a responsibility to have a spirit of their own, and with that intention they are going to set their mindset and develop or grow with their behavior. So normally what happens is that we don't think about, something which is very intrinsic, which has to, when we say the inner self is grown, the outer self is almost, evidently available for the others to see. It becomes an impression. But how is it that we are going to do it? See, most of the time, we give so much of comfort zone to the students or to the kids at home, that we always try to make them, protective, overprotective, or you give them a lot of spoon feeding. I think we need to stop that. We need to give them more of tasks, more of projects, more of blended learning practices, or the practices which are coming up with a lot of digital online technologies or online learning, where they become more adaptive, and they try to make communication with others where they can actually deal with the situations when they go and work. Simply, if you give them rote memory learning and you give them some training where they just go and attend an interview and come back. See, all my life as an English teacher, or as a head of the department, or as a principal, or as an academic coordinator, I have seen, I have seen people talking about a lot of things, or a lot of things where they'll say interview preparation, or you prepare them for an interview, or prepare them for jobs. But I always wanted my students not to go and attend interviews and answer questions. I wanted my students in such a level that they go and ask questions to the interviewer. That should be their profile. That is how we need to make them get into the course. So they have to have a qualification, they need to go through a course, they learn a course, and after that it is very important that this problem solving or adaptation or building of the trust, which makes them very confident, they become trustworthy as a student or an employee tomorrow. They are ready to actually take the feedback and also have a confrontation. I'm not talking about the negative side. They can tackle the situations, they can work on projects, or they can take up their work schedules in such a way that they are going to impress people all across. So normally, we don't think about these kind of activities when they are in the college. Okay, now we have event management, or we make them part of the event management, or we make them part of the clubs, and we make them do a lot of activities in the college. It has to be much more dynamic in the days to come, or we have to give them a lot of practice where they feel that it's more comfortable that way. And then, normally, when it comes to the teaching of the students, or the learning practices in the college, or communication and soft skills training for the placement, always it's like communication and soft skills, language skills. But apart from that, there are much more important kind of facets to it, like as which is just replicated on the screen here. The growth mindset has to be there. Some people, okay, I'll say I'll do this degree, I'll just go for a placement drive, I get a job, and I'll get settled. What is the ultimate goal of it? See, normally when a child comes to a degree college, or maybe an arts and science college, or when they're doing a graduation, they have 2-3 years or 4 years of graduation stage, maybe in an engineering college or a pharma college or an arts and science college. What is it that they are doing? They are just not simply getting into a mold where they're going to settle down for a salary which is very meager, or go and do a data entry job which is not at all interesting. They get lost in that, and they are not satisfied in their life. I always tell my students, okay, irrespective of whatever they're going to become, whatever they're going to choose, what I specifically think that these children, they should not get settled to one thing. I ask them, whatever you're going to do now in this 3 years, it's going to give another 40 years of your life. That is going to be another 40 years of your life. Now, what you are going to do now, what you're going to plan here, it's going to be your rest of your life. So it's not that you're going to be static somewhere, settle down for 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000 rupees job. You have to grow from there, and your mindset has to be in that mode only. So how is it that you're going to upgrade yourself? So being aware of their pros and cons, or whatever weaknesses they have, or the strengths that they can depend upon, or highly confident to manage their time and stress, and take up any situation without bowing down or never giving up, having a resilient attitude, and having a very positive outlook. Start working with the teams, and do work continuously to achieve multiple goals, multitasking. And above all, a quality which I personally like very much is patience. It's wonderful to be patient, and it's really interesting that we actually do so many things here when we are patient. And students sometimes don't believe in that. Maybe when I was very young and very, in my 20s, maybe that level of patience was not very huge, but that is one quality which is very interesting, which gives us time to learn in a proper way. And perceptiveness, where we understand things in the best possible situation, or in the best possible way. So normally what happens is that in the course of the time, when the student is there in the school or the college, most of the parents, they try to give them deadlines, or they try to, madam rightly pointed out in the beginning of this conversation, or when she was introducing, that they want, or the college wants, or madam, or the team of teachers who are there, they want the students to be perfect leaders in the corporate, or the corporate leaders. Then what are the characteristics of a 21st century leader? So the characteristic features are not going to change anyway, but apart from the ethical and the moral values that they are going to have in order to become a very strong leader, this is the era of multitasking, and that multiple perspective approach should be there in their mind, and they have to be ready to communicate and negotiate and have a win-win approach for everything. Effective kind of follow up or learning from the mistakes is the only way, that you are not going to start or at your graduate level and stop there. You're going to go further, maybe in your credentials, or maybe in your qualification or sustainability, it doesn't matter, but what is exactly happening globally is going to be part of your growth. So you're going to not stop anywhere, and you're going to move forward in such a way that you're going to make a difference, not only to yourself, your community, your job, but also to your profile. So you're going to grow into a dynamic personality, dynamic in the real sense, where you're going to do a lot of multitasking, and you're going to be there for the people to understand. So the individual framework of any person is, as we have already discussed in the beginning, it is all up to ourselves and the support system that we have around us. So the individual is highly influenced by either the input or the outcomes or the output. So even though the input is there, the individual has to have a high level of motivation and the learning ability and the perception in order to get the best of the outcome. Say, for example, a graduate student is coming and staying in the college for 3 years. If he sits with interest or without interest, the 3 years are going to get completed. He's going to write an exam and pass through. But there's a lot of difference between what he does with interest, with total involvement and commitment towards that particular course, and upgrading himself with certifications and the extracurricular activities or the extra knowledge, so that at the end of the degree course his profile is complete or his resume is complete, so that he can take up the activity which is going to be the most suitable for him. So this is what is the individual framework which is going to be there, which is very, very much important. But then, the learning or the attitude or the belief or the motivation or the perception, it is not going to start or stop somewhere. See, everybody will be right in their own way. Just if you see the corner of this slide, I've put a picture where four blind people are trying to test and see what's the thing which is there in front of us. When they're blindfolded, each one of them are thinking that, actually, even though it's an elephant which is standing there, each one of them, they are thinking that it is different. So some of us, even though we are not blindfolded, we will have our own perceptions, and there is nothing wrong about it. So first we will try to see what is our perception, then we are going to cross verify whether it is correct or not, and we're going to take the learning and then understand that this learning is going to be very useful, form an attitude, and then grow. This is what is very important. Your perception is fine, you're going to have a perception, you're going to understand something, but that's where you have to cross verify whether it is correct or not. For that purpose only, we have teachers, we have a family, we have the entire support system where you can get. And nowadays, at the click of a mouse, we have everything in Google or so many platforms, digital platforms, where we can learn and we can grow. So the three domains of learning, as always we know about the Bloom's taxonomy, is that the cognitive area, where the knowledge, the comprehension, the application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, everything takes place. This is one place where the entire formal education happens, or you learn from the gadgets, or you study, or you try to see. But then when the next level comes in, the learner's attitude and feelings that are a result of the learning process are more important. That means you receive, and then you respond, and you value the situation, you try to organize and characterize characterize. That means you're going to form your own model. You're going to have an effective emotion where you're going to show your ability. And learners' ability are shown in the skills, like you're going to respond, and you're going to adopt, and you're going to originate, or you're going to create something out of it. So any placement drive which happens in the college, they have two things particularly on the top of their charts when they're selecting the student. Okay, you go through a test. Okay, your ability of writing a test is judged and the marks are the cutoff. But when you go to a GD round, or finally to any interview rounds, they have one thing which is very important. They're going to see whether you're going to be very assertive in your communication, that is very, very clear with your communication, and then you are learning is not, you're learning even when you are going to an interview, and your learning is not going to be something which is bookish, but you're going to create out of it. That means you can survive on your own. That's a survival instinct which they see. So the psychomotor kind of ability that you have, it's going to be anyway judged to during an interview through tests or GD or an interview round or any other psychomotor tests or the psychometric test. But still, what they exactly want is your survival instinct. That's what. See, nobody comes to a campus to reject a child. Definitely there is no rejection to be happening there. It's not about rejection, it's all about selection. So what is about selection? The selection is all about, like, you are going to understand that the selection is for the best. So they're going to select the child who is going to be the best and who is going to be adoptable. So education, in a sense, outward, if you see from the point of view of the formality, it's going to be a set curriculum, and I don't say it's completely passive, but you're going to study, you're going to get educated, and you're going to go through the process of teaching and learning. But then when it is intrinsic, the learning should have created curiosity in you to become more proactive, to go and learn about it in detail, and then come back to the application part of it. So never stop learning. This is the thing which I have written on the slide. Never stop learning, because life never stops teaching. It's not about the code. It's only about, after learning, what is your curiosity level? Are you applying this learning in general? Now that is what is a spirit which a placement trainer or a teacher has to create in a student in order to become the best. See, everybody is not the same. We are okay, we are very common, and I think as a person with very common abilities, I think as a person myself with the common abilities, I think that it is better to be very normal. I don't think I have to be extraordinary to perform. I can be normal, but if I make my learning complete, I think my performance will be always very good. Okay, say for example, if you see the next slide, this is a wonderful picture which I always like. This is me, the cat. Like, this is my personal thing. But inside me, my heart, my mind, my soul, my confidence is so huge that I want to take this world. I want to become a king. In the sense, I'm like a lion. A lion becomes a king of the jungle. I want to achieve in my life. I'm not going to dominate others. This is me, a common person, but inside me, I have a feeling that yes, I can do it. Always this has been my favorite quote. Your I can is more important than your IQ. So I'm having an IQ which can be normal, but I can train myself and become the best, and then go and take the world, and I can achieve things. So in my heart, I am the king, I am the best. See, I am the king. I'm going to achieve. That is the feeling that I should have. So for me, this is the best picture that I can visualize about myself. In spite of being very small little cat. Anyway, the lion is a cat and the common cat is a cat, doesn't matter. Maybe the species is the same, doesn't matter. Inside your heart you have a confidence which is very huge, much bigger than your life and you. That is what is me, and that is what I would prefer the children around me also should learn. That is what I share with others. Okay, inside your heart, if you have a very strong feeling that you're going to become successful, I think everything will happen, everything will follow, because attitude is everything. So this is my favorite thing, that is I can do it. Yeah, I have goal, or I have support system, or wonderful school and college, or I want to become something, and I'm ready preparing myself for the challenges, or I've got a wonderful opportunity which I want to take up. I encourage myself first, saying that yes, I can do it, because most of the times there are situations where it's just like, okay, I can't do it. There's a problem. somebody is trying to stop me, or the world is stopping me, or maybe the pandemic is stopping me. No, nobody can stop us. Nobody on the earth can stop us. If you want to do it, so that's it. You can do it. This is the feeling every single student should have when they are into a school or college. Parents have to be part of this, or teachers have to be part of this. I don't see parents are always there with them half the time, and the teachers are there with the students half the time. And most of the time we are ending up saying that, okay, I don't want anybody to take up their counseling. I'm going to be the mentor. It's not like that. They'll be there in both the places, at home and also in the school or the college. So that's where the teachers have to be more of mentors, coach them, train them, not only for the examinations, not only for this, but for the life. Yes, they can do it. If that's the feeling that they have got, then getting marks and ranks and medals in the university exams, as well as proving themselves in the ability enhancement or in the placement drives, is not that very difficult. It becomes very quite interesting and quite easy also. So normally what happens is that when the student comes to a college level, they will be actually judging themselves to different things. As I told you already, when it comes to the placement level, companies come with lots and lots of ideas, and they come with lots and lots of inputs, or they come with different kinds of activities, or different kinds of testing modules, where they would like to test the students. See, normally many of us, we know that the communication skills are basic, and the speaking skills of the students are going to place him, or the writing skills of the students are going to place them in the best situation. But then it's very required for the teaching fraternity, or maybe the parents, to understand that the student has to be complete as a person. So the pleasing personality of a student and his emotional intelligence of his self management and management of others is also equally important. So the professional skills as well as the emotional skills come in to make the social and the physical skills stronger. So if you just look into this particular slide, we see that the problem solving skills are part of the emotional skills, and the social etiquette is part of the social skills. But then have to actually become part of the society. Say for example, if you go with the body language, there are so many rubrics, rules of learning. In a body language, we say, okay, pleasing personality. You go to say for example, simple thing is dress code. Okay, all of us, we are here as teachers and student fraternity, and all of you will agree with me if I say that, okay, in the college we will say dress code is very important, and you give a particular dress code to the student. But the student, this is the most important part where they want to actually revolt against. They say, no, 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 we don't want to follow this dress code, and we don't want to do this, and we don't want to wear a in shirt, or a full hand shirt or shoe or anything. And they will be asking us to make it more free for them. But then one dimension of it, okay, just can be a simple part of a body language. But when anybody comes and takes a look at us, the outward personality of a person is the first thing which makes an impression before we open our mouth and talk to somebody, or write something, or write an examination. You can get a good score, but then this also plays a very important part, where your outward appearance is going to be of more importance, or it is to be of more importance, or it's going to be of more importance. It's a small little dimension of your grooming or a positive body language, but then it actually sets up your social etiquette, that you know how to actually place yourself or present yourself in a particular situation socially. So that's going to make up your personality, or that is going to be part of your personality. And that is where everything which is part of the placement training comes. Okay, I'll just tell you a small funny thing. You let us make it much more lighter, because I know the StreamYard, it's a one mode way where we cannot have interaction. But then I'll tell you a small funny thing. Okay, you don't know dining etiquette, and you don't know how to eat with a fork or a spoon, or you don't know the culture of how the spoons and the things are placed on a dining table. You go to a social situation, or in an office where you have to use the cutlery, and you are using it, and the food falls on the plate of another person, or you make a lot of noise and you end up eating only with your hands. It is not a problem. Yes, even I prefer making noises in eating food. It doesn't matter. but that's for me personally. But when we go to an outward situation, we need to shake hands and we need to look at people, we need to talk to them. Our dress has to be inspiring, our content has to be inspiring, and you need to have, and at that particular situation, dining etiquette is very important. I am not saying or I'm saying that the dining etiquette has to be taught in the college. I'm just telling, see, look at the importance. At one particular point of time, you're shaking of hands or a dining etiquette, it becomes important. So why is that we are having a negative attitude towards it? Learn, upgrade, become more integrated with the learning approaches around us. Take inputs from the people who are ready to give you the learning, like teachers and your parents and the support group, and start becoming the best. Nowadays, I know all the children, you are into so much of digitalization. We are very old, right? We actually look up to you to understand the social structure and the digital platforms. But then when you have children, all these children, when they are there with the gadgets, all of you guys and girls, when you are there with the gadgets, you know how to do a reel, or you don't know, you know how to do a selfie or anything. Then why don't we use this for actually setting up your impression? Have your own blogs, or write on the blogs, or you try to create content videos where you can speak about what exactly you are or what you know, or help others. Do small learning videos. What happens is that this gives you, and you can put this in your resume also. Somebody looks at it, they will understand, okay, you are good at actually learning some content and sharing that with the people. But most of the time we don't see that children are only doing reels or only doing selfies only because they want more followers. That should not be the way. You do reels, you do this, but you can showcase your talent as well in that, so that it becomes an additional advantage for you. So definitely, any person, it's a development. Life is a cycle, right? And we have so much of ability to learn as a human being. There is no stopping us. So all the skills which put us one after the other, from the professional communication skills to personal or interpersonal, all the people who are around us, you start working with them and you achieve your goal with the time management. You have to have a kind of an agreeableness that I'm open for learning. You should have a broad minded, awakening kind of spirit for learning, where you're open for learning and you have a consciousness where, see, say for example, you go to an office and you are given a job and you are given a project where you don't have much of a knowledge on that particular thing. Then what is that you're going to do? You're going to lose it, you're going to shout at the boss, or you're going to become depressed? Absolutely not. Take time, learn about it, talk to people, get help. Getting help and learning from others is not a problem. It is actually part of living your life. So you have to have that extra version and agreeableness, where you have a neurological balance and you take up your job in a very easy way. The toughest of the project, you're going to make the best. The toughest of the project, you're going to make very agreeable. The toughest of the project, you're going to make it very understandable. That is what is life all about. You are going to achieve the best outcomes with the toughest of the project, where it is very new for you to work in that area. That is called a challenge. You become challenging, you triumph life with success. So that is what is very important. Yeah, we need a little bit of a guidance. That's okay, fine. You're so open that you want to learn and you want to go forward. So this small little slide is a kind of an interpretation, but still, you can understand that part of our existence is communication skills, and we should have all other skills also in order to become very, personally impressive, personally successful, and personally very, very confident in order to take up the entire world. So we actually, whenever the placement training comes, what happens is that most of us talk about the corporate jobs, corporate kind of sector. But as a placement trainer for so many years, or as an English teacher or as an administrator, I've always thought that why only corporate jobs? Are Indian children not made for the government jobs? There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands and lakhs of government jobs, which are so very exciting. This is our country, our land, our place. For any job, you just need some ability. What is that? You need verbal ability, that is language ability. Number two, the technical ability, and the entire application knowledge of the course that you have studied. So you organize yourself with that and you take a wonderful feedback from that, and automatically what happens is that you're going to become very successful. So all these things are part of it, and any job which you're going to take, it is going to be highly interesting. So students, now this is the time where you have to stop thinking about the routine monotonistic corporate jobs that's there, always there, and go for a fund of jobs which are going to be excellent in understanding, and they actually give you a wonderful life. See, normally what happens is that there are, like, that is what I said, madam has rightly pointed out, we need corporate leaders. Yeah, we don't want managers who simply go, you just go to a company, you're given a work, then you have a team, you either you are a manager, that means you are a part of a team, or a head of a team, you all toil together, work, and then you take the work at your back. No, you have to be a leader. Who are you? What are your qualities? What are your upgrading skills? What is your persona? What is your personality? With that, you're going to have an aim, a goal, a kind of a setup where you're going to have a team, you're going to train them, and the work automatically follows you. Then now let us see whether we want to become leaders or whether we want to become managers. When I told you initially, like, few minutes back, like, you are stopping somewhere about your thinking and your growth mindset, you would not have understood. Now you would have understood. You are doing part of it as a managerial job where something is given and you do it very blindfolded. No, are you a leader? Are you going to lead the people around you? A leader is always a person who makes others also leaders. That is what is the fun of life. That is what is the fun of administration. That's wonderful way of living life. Now that is what everybody has to envision, and everybody has to start enjoying. So that is what, like, sometimes what happens is that many of us, we will not understand, but our heredity, that means people around us, our family, they can influence our communication, because we are born into a team called family, and they are going to be part of our communication ability. That's absolutely fine. But then, we have so many other dimensions. One is education, another one is experience, and you have relationship with your peers, faculty or friends or whoever it is, and a lot of geographical differences, and the working environment. So that all these things are going to be, the personal things are going to be factors which will be influencing your communication. But then, ultimately your goals are going to make it more important, and your communication is going to change accordingly to the outcomes which you're going to plan in future. Okay, a student comes to a college, the first year should be going ahead with the course and not having backlogs, and learning one or two small language certification courses. When you come down to the second year, then you're going to think about some certifications which are going to be core subject oriented, and then finally you're going to prepare yourself for the placements and challenging the world and preparation for the competitive examinations when you come to the final year. Now this is what is a small structure that we make out when we come to a graduate college. In that, all these communication factors are going to be there, and the people around us or the factors will influence. But then you're going to come out and say, okay, you're going to raise your hand and say, okay, this is me, I'm going to take only the positive side of everything, and I'm not going to get negatively influenced. So a parent, adult, or a child, or a manager or a worker, it's the same thing. Either you can say, okay, I'm helpless, I can't do anything, very passive. No, I don't want to, I just want to give it up. Or otherwise, I'm okay, everything is fine, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to challenge, and I'm going to be in a very healthy position. Sometimes what you do is that I'm okay, and you try to dominate others. Maybe sometimes you become successful, but all the time it may not work. Or otherwise, you are very confused that you are also not okay, the others also are not okay. So you are not okay, and nobody is okay, and you're completely confused. Now you have to choose. Either you're going to be passive, or you're going to be confused, or you're going to be aggressive, or you're going to be absolutely assertive, where you want to do, you want to tell, you want to communicate what you want to do, but without hurting another person. You are empathetic, you're going to think about others and yourself when you're doing any activity. So this is a very healthy way of understanding things. Then, like, we'll have a lot of reports. I've just taken one quote here from the India Skills report. So you see the total setup here, where every year there will be certain sectors where there will be more and more of jobs. So we have already see, because this is a commerce department where I'm actually taking a session here. So I was very happy in order to understand that the BFSI is on the rise now in the 2021, and because as we have pandemic and more of work from home and the digital platforms, the software, hardware, IT, and internet businesses are more in 2021. But there is something like which is a kind of a slow kind of a growth here. There might be change every year, but it is not going to be a kind of an understanding that it is not going to change next year. It is going to change, whether it is hospitality or tourism or travel or core sectors, or the public sector and private sector jobs, or transport or e-commerce or pharma, healthcare, medicine, anything. First important thing that we need to learn is that the student should have minimum qualification which is required to be eligible for the placements, number one. Number two, they have to be the best in their qualification and toppers, or they should have minimum knowledge in their subject. And once they are going for the placements or choosing the core area where they want to test themselves, the next important thing is that all the students have to understand that they have to upgrade themselves with certain things. See, this is what is trending in 2022, and whatever is there on the other side is declining. So as I told you, you have to be very proactive with your active learning strategies, and technology design and program is anyway part of it, but your emotional intelligence is going to play a huge role, which is going to make you a leader of social influence, and systems and analysis and all that's going to be part of your learning. It's going to be both reasoning as well as a technical ability, which is going to make you the best leader. I'm not saying that whatever is there on the other side, like your personal ability or your coordination, time management's there, but that is what something which is now slowly not in the picture, because this is a new digital era. So you have to be more concretely fast, sharp, very critical in order to take up every situation in the in a kind of a minute. It's just magical when you go through the process of understanding, learning, and then becoming placement oriented. So you cannot stop anywhere. Don't stop anywhere. Don't try to slow down, because that's it. That's simply going to be, it's going to be only a simple thing. So now, if you see the statistics also, the employability, no, I think that this is something which is not very interesting, where India is in the 15th position, because sometime way back, 5 years, 6 years back, it was much better. But we need to understand that this is something which is very interesting, because India has jumped from downward position to an upward position in 2020. That means employability has started to raise. Even though the employability number in India is around 25%, which is not that very encouraging. Many of our children are still not employed, but still we can say that India had a positive growth sign. So that is the power of our youth. So the youth are not going to waste time contemplating things. You can be an entrepreneur, you can be an employee, you can set up your own business, or you can become part of the governmental sector where you want to do the administration for the country. But it is very important that we have to understand we are on a positive way, on a positive note. So there's nothing like it's going to change. The change never happens. I will share a small personal experience here. Long back, I think it was in 2013 that I went to Hong Kong. They were not there in that spot because they were also very down previous years. Why? Because people in the parts of China, or in the parts of Hong Kong, or in the some of the even Eastern countries also, they're not good with their language, especially English. So even when we went in 2013, we need to have interpreters most of the time, or few people who can speak to us in English. Otherwise everybody were speaking in their own local language. But now you see they have topped us. What's the meaning of that? They started learning. If you see people like South Korea or Japan or Spain, Netherlands, maybe they are speaking English, but some of the countries are purely speaking only in their personal language. So we need to understand that it is very important that so most of the time we have to take it up in a positive way, where we need to do the things in a much easier span of time, where it is easy for us to pick up the employability. So I preferably do one thing which is very interesting for me. That is what I've seen, as I told you, as my personal experience in Hong Kong also. These statistics are fine for understanding. but we need to understand that we should be there somewhere in the top 5, because in spite of having such an excellent education system and so much of cream of youth in the country, if our employability is very less, then it is going to be our fault and nobody else's fault. So the latest India Skills Report in 2020, 21 is yet to come. So this is about, like, what are all the courses which are on the rise. BE Tech, always we know they'll be always on the rise. But if you just see, there's an interesting thing here. If you see that the increase in the commerce groups or the arts groups or the MBA, it's always like, it has grown so much. I don't think about that the BSc has come down or the MCA has come down, but still, if you see BCom, arts, and MBA are on the race, or B Pharma and Polytechnic or MCA, all this Polytechnic, B Pharma, arts, and commerce, and MBA are on a race. What is the meaning of that? Sometimes they may go down, sometimes they may climb up. It is not about the numbers. You have seen, I'm giving you the numbers here. You have seen the numbers, but still, you have to understand that if your qualification is correct, you are choosing the apt path. You are actually supporting yourself with the certification, making your verbal ability good and your technical ability or the aptitude good, then there is no stopping any one of you. This is the latest. But if you see, there's a growth in MBA employability and B Arts employability or the BCom employability, and even like BSc and MCA, it's going to be standard, but there is a growth in the B Pharma and Polytechnic employability as well. So there are scopes and jobs, like many industries are coming up where we can have a wide employability opportunity. So when it comes to the kind of making ourselves, it's very personal to me or very close to me, I would say that all the children who are taking up employability should actually make themselves certified in languages. So we have the CEFR college, Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, and they offer certifications in different languages, English or Spanish or French or German or anything. And we have certifications from A1 to C2. So the children, okay, learning language in school and having your first and second language is fine. But then you need to have certain certifications in order to go and study abroad, or in order to go and work in an MNC company where they will give you an extra advantage of a job facilitation. So this is something which is very close to me. I would say that the children should start, all the students who are in the colleges and schools should start working on this. Some schools have already started, they have these courses in their schools and colleges, but still those who have not yet started, all these things start sometimes in the schools where they started from first or third standard and finish it off by 10. Some children, they'll have C2 certifications. When they come to the +1 +2 and degree, they will just concentrate on their core area and get wonderful jobs. Even though somebody is starting very late, it doesn't matter. You have enough knowledge and ability. You should start certifying yourselves in these areas. So we have wonderful tests like PTE, which is very cost effective, where you can do everything, in a self-learning mode. So once you log on to that course, PSN test of English. So this is something which is latest, even approved by the visa process of the American embassy also. So embassies across the world, they will give us these abilities of giving the general code of certifications, and this test is very popular nowadays, like IELTS or TOEFL. So you can take, so you can just see that. So the marks in the PTE or the scores, they are equal to so much of grades in the IELTS test, from 4.5 to 9. So you go through 10 levels of PTE or take up an IELTS test, it's the same thing. But one thing which is very important, remember here, when you take CEFR test, they are valid for lifetime. But when we take IELTS and a TOEFL test, they are only valid for few years, 1 or 2 years. So these kind of tests. And one more thing which I would like to show you is the testing and marking systems of CEFR, including IELTS, TOEFL, as well as the Cambridge University examination. So most of the schools, they take up Cambridge University examinations up to CPE, or some colleges take up big programs because they are very, very interesting, and they're very useful, because they actually, like as you see, from A0 to C2, different numbers which I have given us, it gives you lots and lots of advantage, because these tests are valid for lifetime. Once you take this test, you have them with you. You need not write IELTS or you need not write TOEFL and again write and do things. It's not required. So you can concentrate on taking such things, international certifications in financial English or legal English or BEC or BIOLETS or Cambridge examinations. But when you write TOEFL and IELTS, it's only valid for few years. So these tests, when you take beyond this CFR test in any language, not only English, in any language, you will be qualified and certified for a lifetime, which will be useful for your higher education or maybe the MNC level jobs. Even if you join the Indian services also, they'll be useful for making you more adaptive. Then I want to finally come to a kind of a place where we are talking about commerce department. Sometimes let us talk about the commerce department. So we will say, okay, we are going to go for certain jobs which are clerical in nature or related to accounting, so banking, investments, insurance, capital markets, accounting and taxation, company secretaries, even intellectual property rights, I would say, cost and work accountancy or cost and management accountancy, that is CMA, and then actuarial sciences, where you're going to be the statutory board members who are going to do the assessments and the certified financial planners. So many commerce courses, so many commerce dimensions, so many commerce opportunities. Like now we are in the department of corporate secretaryship, like what we are doing right now today for the department of corporate secretaryship. Then what are the courses that we can do? So this is a main course that we are going to do, and these are the careers. There are hundreds of courses, certification courses. I've just given one web thing called as www.shortcourseportal.com. You just go and log into it, or NPTEL or any other place. Few weeks course, take a 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, month courses, or some other online courses which are available. Along with the graduation, you are doing graduation in any one of these streams. What is it that you are doing? What is your certification? Okay, are you good at English? Just now I told you, certify yourself in language. You should not simply have a IELTS or a TOEFL certificate. You should have language certifications. Okay, you are very good at language. You are very good at your subject. Then what is the subject specialization? What is your certification? How people are going to judge you? That is where your dimension of employability is going to come. The employers are looking at people who are very dynamic and very widespread in their thought process. So that is what is very important. So when you are in any field, try to think about jobs. So we have SSB or RRB or whatever it is. Why are we not actually cracking them? The students are okay. Say for example, in most of the times we have seen in a corporate setup, or maybe in a city, or even in a suburban college or in rural colleges, they want a company to come select them and take them to a job. It's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong in it. You go to a company corporate job, but is that enough? These are so many dimensions which are already available. Then why is it that we are not specializing ourselves in that? Why are we not taking certifications in that? Why are we not doing PG programs in that? Please start thinking about in that way, and that is where your skill enhancement is going to show the thing. So I'll just click on one more slide where you say courses after BCom. You go for post graduation, that's typically MCom, or you go to MBA, or you can go to masters in management or masters in finance, specialization courses, or otherwise professional courses like CS or CA or CFA or financial risk management nowadays, which has become very interesting. You go to the courses like that. And job oriented certifications, you say digital marketing, e-commerce, investment banking, or data analytics. Now this is a top thing, because you get data analytics and you get corporate jobs. Then government jobs, where are they? You can go to UPSC, you can go to banks, you can go to staff selection commission. Now, this is what is a wide area that we have. We go for higher studies, we can go for professional courses, we can go for training certifications, and we can go for government jobs. But then, at the end of it, if you see, I've given a small flow chart which says so many desk jobs and field jobs: the Intelligence Bureau, the Vigilance, the Ministry of External Affairs, or the Central Secretarial Services, or Controller and Auditor General, Controller General of Accounts, Controller General of Defense Accounts, Income Tax, Central Excise, Preventive Officers, Examiners, and Enforcement Directorate. We know it's very popular thing, ED, examiners or preventive officers in the IPR sectors, or SI or inspector cadres in CBI, Narcotics Bureau, National Investigation Agency, and why not the Postal Department? These are the SSC combined graduate level examination jobs for the group services of Group C, Group A, B, C services. Maybe some A services don't come into SSC. So Group B and C services, where we have thousands of jobs. You're getting a qualification, you're getting yourself very specialized, either you're going for professional courses, but I would say this is a wide scope that you have got. Wonderful, wonderful to actually take up on the world. World is yours. You can do a further education. You can specialize yourself with a professional course. And now recently I was talking to some friends in US. They were telling that after CA, the certification in the forensic, auditing or accounting has become a mark. So if you have CA, BCom CA, and you want to go and do a specialization in a university for the forensic auditing, it's wonderful, because you're going to go into the fraud management or the risk management of the fraud management, where you're going to learn about how you have to manage the forensic frauds. So it's excellent opportunity. We had a chat on that, and we were discussing how interesting it is. So students, we don't have any kind of commitment that we have to stop somewhere. We are going to grow. The skill enhancement or the ability enhancement of a student starts as soon as the students joins the school at the very pre-KG level. From that level to the end of the school, every now and then the teaching fraternity or the parents, everybody, they are going to give us lots of support in order to make us think that, okay, this is me, and this is how I am going to understand myself, and this is how I am going to grow. So you're going to grow, you're going to choose a career, you're going to go through that path, but then how you're going to make yourself stabilize there. Don't go for short term goals where you just complete a degree and go for a placement and then end of it. No, what are the skills that you need to develop? So basically there are two areas. One is where you need to develop your communication and soft skills and the verbal ability skills, and then you have the technical skills and your attitude, which is going to make you a complete person, and actually support yourself with the job oriented certifications which are top trending. See what is very important and what's very interesting, and you can go for those jobs. So that is what is something which is required from the present generation youth. The jobs are many folded, many, but we are not even applying for any one of those jobs. If you see the list of the jobs which are there in our country, many. You are dynamic, you are excellent, you can crack these jobs, but then we are not going for them. So both desk jobs or tax jobs or non-tax jobs or accounting jobs, they are there. And I will tell you that some of I studied my graduation some 30 years back. At that time, some of my friends who were there in a very government college, we studied in a government college, we never had huge colleges during that time. From my government college, a fund of my friends cracked that means combined defense services examination, where it is general defense accounts. So it is the controller general of defense accounts examinations, and they are doing that job. Just imagine 30 years back, girls and boys cracking the examination where they never had any kind of guidance at all. So I'm proud of them. And UN jobs or multinational jobs. My friends are there everywhere. Even now we have a WhatsApp group. Why not? We every day chat with each other, even after 30 years, and we are kind of motivation or kind of inspiration for each other. So when we had a time where we never had any guidance, we were able to achieve things. Now you people are much better than us, and you're wonderful, you can do it much better than us. Now this is what is going to be your life, where you're going to crack it in your own way. Now this is what is my small presentation, and the skill enhancement or ability, according to me, is very personal, which is supported by the support systems called family or teachers, school, college, and all your peer group. Everybody is important, but apart from everybody, something which is more important is you. Only you, yourself, you're going to make it, you're going to become successful, and you are going to achieve. In the college, number one, you, number two, family, and then number three, everybody else. So you're going to live for yourself, study for yourself, achieve for yourself, make your family proud, so that they take you as a role model. They feel very happy. And then you will have all your friends and everybody there apart from this to support you. So always think that you are the most important person now when you are preparing yourself for placements, and this is your life. Right? So this is what is my small presentation. Just wanted to conclude here. And then if any other questions are there, then we can take. Yes, madam. My presentation is done. And if any questions are there, yeah, we can take them. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. It was indeed an excellent presentation, and I think the core concept is amazing because this is what we are all looking forward to, and this is what is majorly lacking. Because a couple of years back itself, I think our employability quotient was as low as 3.8%. And
Yeah.
now I think with this pandemic period it would have broadened much further. So I
Yeah.
think this is something you've offered to our students on a golden plate, and we should really thank you for it. But we do have some questions.
Yeah. Please.
I will just quickly put it forward to you. It will be displayed on the
Yeah.
screen, ma'am.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Ma'am, I think your presentation has been brilliant. The students are
Thank you.
very, very happy, and there doesn't seem to be questions on from our side. It has been an
Oh.
excellent and indeed well presented session, ma'am. And we now have Dr. Janaki to give the vote of thanks.
Okay. Right.
Good evening to one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for today's event. I am Mrs. P. Janagi on behalf of Department of Corporate Secretaryship, Dwarakadas Govardhandas Vaishnava College. I extend my most sincere thanks to our respected Secretary Sir, Sri Ashok Kumar Mundraji, our beloved Principal Sir, Captain Dr. S. Santosh Babu, and Head of the Department Shift 2, Dr. K. Kalpana Devi Ma'am, stimulated us to do our best and standing as pillars of strength. I extend a hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. D. Ashalata Reddy Ma'am, Principal, Sri Vidya Niketan Degree College, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, who spared time from our busiest schedule to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts, and I believe this will surely encourage us in our future events, ma'am. I also extend thanks to all the staff members and students for attending this event. Once again, thank you so much for all.
We thank all the participants for giving their precious time to us. And the feedback form will be posted in the chat box. All of you can kindly fill the feedback form. Your feedback is very precious to us. Thank you so much. And we end this session on a positive note.